Well, in addition to the best football analysis in the country, Cold Hard Football Facts also offers the only guide to the gridiron lifestyle of beer, food, and football. And to that end, we're here with the master of beer, the master of food and beer, Jim Koch, founder and brewer of Sam Adams. And Jim, you guys got something pretty special going on this year, at least for fans up in New England. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's very cool. It's the Sam Adams Patriot Homebrew Competition, and we open it up to all the home brewers in New England. They send us their best recipe. We pick the best of hundreds of recipes that we get, and the winner gets their beer served at Gillette at the Sam Adams Brew House for the entire season.
Now, what kind of beer is it? What is it? Is it Sam Adams Lager, or what is it?
No, we always want something unique. This year, it's a Rauch beer, a German smoked beer.
I've had those. They're like, they almost taste like bacon or something.
Yeah, it's got a little barbecue in it, so you can come from your tailgate to our tailgate. And at the Sam Adams Brew House, you can not just get Boston Lager, but you can go over and get a winning homebrew from Rob North in Manchester, New Hampshire. And to me, it's just very cool that at a major sports venue, you can get a really interesting, unique style of beer. I remember the days when you went to Schaefer Stadium, all you got was bad beer, cheap food. Now you can get world-class beer and see world-class football.
Well, beautiful. Well, Jim, after we finish these off, I say we find some time to tailgate this year and try some Sam Adams homebrew, Patriot homebrew.
Barbecue in a glass. Cheers.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to the Cold Hard Football Facts. Rob Shaw and Kerry Byrne with you here. Now it's time for Chalk Talk, which means it's time to focus on defense. Now we see usually the statistics you'll find in all the publications as well as all the websites, but you have something a little different at coldhardfootballfacts.com called Quality Stats.
Quality Stats. And what we do is we find the stats that correlate to victory. The stats you need to be good in to win a game. And why don't we look at the graphic? We'll put up a chart here.
Yeah, let's take a look right here.
Now look at this. We're looking at the last 10 Super Bowl champions, okay? On the left is just their rank in passing yards. This is what the typical publication or media pundit looks at. If a team's ranked 20th in passing yards allowed, they say they're the 20th best pass defense. That's not what we look at, Rob. We look at defensive passer rating, okay? This applies the formula you use for a quarterback and it applies it to the pass defense. Everyone remembers, Rob, the 2001 Patriots who shocked the Rams in the Super Bowl, right? People looked at them and said, look at that number there, Rob. 24th in pass defense based on yards.
Doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good. Third in defensive passer rating. We knew they had a shot at that game because they were one of the best pass defenses in football. Look at the 2003 Patriots even, one of Bill Belichick's teams, right? 15th in passing yards allowed. People thought they were a mediocre pass defense.
Right.
Number 1 in defensive passer rating. Let's look. Last year is another great example. The 2009 Saints, one of the worst teams in football in passing yards allowed, 26th. Number 3 in defensive passer rating. So in 8 of these 10 examples, the team was better in defensive passer rating than they were in passing yards allowed, and they won the Super Bowl.
And this is just basically quarterback rating, but the opposite for a full defense taking on quarterbacks?
Yeah, just applies. You put the numbers that a quarterback put up against them, and you run the numbers and just apply it to the defense. This is interesting because this works all throughout history, Rob. Everyone remembers the great steel curtain defenses of the 60s, right? They were not a very good run defense, Rob. People think Green Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood, nobody could run against them. Many years they were an average run defense. Their defensive passer rating was through the roof year after year after year, including in 1973, a 33.1 defensive passer rating, the best in the modern era. The 14 quarterbacks they faced that year posted a cumulative 33 passer rating. That's how good they were, and the secret to the steel curtain is found in our quality stats.
That's amazing. And you look at the numbers right now, it seems like every quarterback's getting over 4,000 passing yards, over 25 touchdowns. These numbers are very important considering how much teams pass
Absolutely.
the ball.
Yeah, they're critical. If you're good in the numbers we look at, you're going to win football games.
Now, of course, you from coldhardfootballfacts.com. What should we expect coming up this season from you?
Well, we got a lot of great stuff coming up, Rob. As we said, the foundation is our quality stats. Let me read them to you.
Sure.
Bendability index, our measure of defensive efficiency, okay? It quantifies a bend but don't break phenomenon. People talk about a bend but don't break defense. They do use the eye test. We have the numbers to show it. It's offensive corollary, the scorability index. How efficient is your offense? Passing yards per attempt we talked about earlier. How efficient you are passing the ball. We take into account sacks. If you drop back 10 times and you're sacked 4 times and you lose 40 yards, we count those numbers. We count those sacks as pass attempts. They're critical. Defensive passer rating we just talked about, okay? People talk about offensive and defensive lines. Every football fan says the game's won in the trenches, right? What do they base that on? What numbers do they use? We measure our offensive hog index. Our defensive hog index, this is an incredible stat. 25-8 picking playoff winners. That one stat alone in the 3 years since we introduced the stat. Not only that, the number one team in football, and when we introduced the indicator in 2007, the New York Giants won the Super Bowl. Nobody saw that team coming. Our defensive hog index saw it coming. The 2008 Super Bowl champion, the Steelers, number one in our defensive hog index, won the Super Bowl. We got passer rating differential, which just measures how well you perform in the passing game, subtracting your defensive passer rating from your offensive passer rating. You add these up, you put these side by side. I don't care what game it is, we're up. Patriots, Jets, big game coming up in week 2, right? You size up as we do with our new stats product. Each team side by side in our stats, it'll tell a very compelling story. You will know who's going to win that game, or you'll have a much better idea than the average outlet, just looking at two teams sized up side by side in our quality stats.
Amazing stuff, and it's all at coldhardfootballfacts.com. Thank you so much in line for Peter King, for Jason Santos, as well as for Sam Adams.
Jim Koch, don't forget Jim Koch.
Jim Koch, how could we forget? I guess after a couple you can. And also, of course, Champions Restaurant right here in Boston. We've been shooting all day. Well, thank you to everyone involved. I'm Rob Shaw with Kerry Byrne. That is the Cold Hard Football Facts.